Order in Chaos 2 is officially shutting down today. By the time the video goes live, it's probably already shut down. I want to talk a little about the Order in Chaos genre in general, because I know a lot of people that have been following me for a while know that I come from Order in Chaos originally. And that's where I met most of the community, and I know a lot of people have and were excited about this project. It was people's main game for a long time, and now Order in Chaos 1 shut down earlier this year officially, and then Order in Chaos 2 is shutting down now. So the Order in Chaos genre is from today officially gone. So let's talk about it. So I logged in earlier just to see the message where it says it's officially shutting down now. Let's be real, Order in Chaos should have probably been shut down 3 to 4 years ago, even like 5. And the reason for that is that the game was just live because the interest of the community, that people still logged on and still played it, even though there was no more content. They haven't released game content on that game for probably since 2017, 2018, and the only content they ever released on these games were just like new companions that you could buy, new skins that you could buy, and there was no actual content in the games, and it was just a run by I think just community managers, and no developers were actually working on the game anymore. But how did we get here? Like, where did it start? Where did the downfall of Order in Chaos start? Because the reality is Order in Chaos 1 and 2 were both amazing games. Still till this day, if you look at the mobile market, they are by far better MMOs than what you actually find in today's market with the new technology, with everything. The developers that worked on Order in Chaos 1 and 2 were like top tier developers that made an amazing high quality game. And till this day, if they relaunched Order in Chaos, it would do better than most MMOs because it has so much content. It has so many unique features that you could only find in actual PC games. It was basically like World of Warcraft, but on a mobile, right? So where did this downfall start? Because developers were amazing at doing their job. The first downfall that started with Order in Chaos 1 was the release of Order in Chaos 2. Now, if you guys know, I worked very close with the people that developed Order in Chaos Gameloft. I was an insider, and then I started working very close with Order in Chaos 1 and 2. And I started to realize very quickly that they cared more about their new project, Order in Chaos 2. The reality is Order in Chaos 2 was very different from Order in Chaos 1. There was almost no similarities except the name and like the storyline, but they made a whole new game with whole new features. They didn't have the Holy Trinity, they didn't have the same classes, the same world, the same out. Nothing was alike. It was just they knew that the hype of the name Order in Chaos 1 could follow onto Order in Chaos 2, but that didn't mean that Order in Chaos 2 was a worse game. It was still good in its own way, but it was nothing like Order in Chaos 1. But that's where the downfall started, because they got more interested in the success of Order in Chaos 2. They wanted to push more updates for Order in Chaos 2. They wanted more people to play Order in Chaos 2 because Order in Chaos 2 had newer engines and everything, but they didn't know, they didn't realize that the community still liked Order in Chaos 1 more. And same goes for me. So what they told me is they wanted me to make more content in Order in Chaos 2, and I said, hey, I don't want to play Order in Chaos 2. They tried to like come to a deal, tried pushing for it, and I came to like some kind of compromise where I could play both games. But they started caring less and less about Order in Chaos 1. So the developers and all the manpower they had focused on Order in Chaos 2. I know they struggled a lot because they used a lot of old coding in Order in Chaos 1. Their engine was old, so they couldn't make those cool changes that they wanted to, that they could do in Order in Chaos 2, like flying mounts, new movement, massive content updates were only possible in Order in Chaos 2, and they couldn't do it in Order in Chaos 1. So it started like the updates for Order in Chaos 1 started coming out slower and slower, but Order in Chaos 2 started getting updates. So that is all good and great, but where did it stop? How did it fail? And it comes to the reality of this is it's all about the Vivendi takeover from Gameloft. So in 2016, what the Vivendi did was they started buying more and more shares into the Gameloft company. Because what they wanted to do is they wanted to do a hostile takeover, because they wanted, their end goal was to buy or get the ownership of Ubisoft, right? So Gameloft was just a stepping stone. They didn't really care much about Gameloft, but they had to get Gameloft to then acquire Ubisoft, right? So they were able to acquire the people that owned Gameloft. Eventually gave up, and they were like, yeah, you know what, you can have all the stocks and shares. We don't want to like have these negotiations anymore. We give up. You can have it. So Vivendi takes over, and of course they don't really care about Gameloft. You know, they're not there for Gameloft. They have another goal. So a lot of people quit in Gameloft, and they, of course, all they care about now is money, right? Where can we make the most money? While the passionate developers, the passionate people that care for Order and Chaos games, because I was in contact with them. I know the guy that worked and was the head like manager of Order and Chaos 2 back then. He loved the game. He wanted to do good, and he tried all he could to like make a very good game, right? But when the hostile takeover comes, what matters? Money. So what Gameloft and what Vivendi ended up doing, they were like, okay, which games makes money? Asphalt was massive, right? Dungeon Hunter was massive. Order and Chaos, not so good, because first of all, they had split the population up to Order and Chaos 1 and Order and Chaos 2. They were not making that much money, so MMOs requires a lot of investment, right? And they're like, we're not going to be investing probably in this project anymore. So you guys could like keep the servers up and because it's still making money, but we're not going to invest $1 into the game. So they probably stopped paying the developers. This is just assumptions, but this is most likely what happened. Started paying developers. They were like, we don't want you to work on this game. And all those good developers, they probably went to different companies. You know, some probably joined NetEase and started working on other games. Some joined other places. Some, but all those dedicated developers that like the game and enjoy the game, they stopped working on it. So every update you saw, like if you come to 2017 18, you can see that there was no more content updates in the game. There was no new raids, there was no dungeons, there were no new PvP arena. Everything was just costumes and costumes. They just kept the servers up, kept milking the game, because the reality is there were no developers to actually work on the game, to release any content updates on the game. So the downfall of Order and Chaos 1 till this day, I have to say, is Order and Chaos 2 and Vivendi. And the downfall of Order and Chaos 2 is Vivendi. And I can say like Order and Chaos 1 probably is the downfall too. But where they messed up is they split up the population. If they made like a very similar game to Order and Chaos 1, I could see it being successful and making enough revenue for it to actually sustain. But since the game was so different, they just didn't have enough players to sustain the money they were making, right? So now in 2023, will we ever see an Order and Chaos comeback? Now there are possibilities for this. They're small, but there are possibilities. I am in like several Discord channels that are working on the Order and Chaos 1, because nobody actually cares about Order and Chaos 2. I'm gonna be honest, like Order and Chaos 2 is great. There's many games similar to it. The game people really care about is Order and Chaos 1, because it was very unique, very wow-like, a lot of features, a lot of content, and everybody that played the game, you know, fell in love with the game, right? So Order and Chaos 1, there's a lot of people who were trying to work on the code and try to release like private small servers. I saw like one server work for a while, but I was only on PC version. But there's something is wrong with the coding. There's missing some coding, so people are not able to fix it. However, there is another chance. Newly, Dungeon Hunter 6 came out, right? And it was not Gameloft that developed this game. It was somebody called Goat Games. So what Goat Games did is they came to probably a negotiation with Gameloft Vivendi. They were like, yo, we want to make Dungeon Hunter 6. You guys don't have to do anything. We'll develop. We just need the code from you guys. So it probably comes with like a business deal where they get a percentage, right? So the only way for Order and Chaos 2 Online to probably come back is Vivendi and Gameloft are not going to do anything about it, right? They don't care. The only way to do is if an external company comes in, like for example Goat Games or the different developers. They come in, they go to Gameloft and be like, hey, you guys don't care about the game. We do. We want to make Order and Chaos 3, for example, very similar to Order and Chaos 1. But we need the name, and they come to a negotiation, they come to a deal, right? That's the only way we will ever see an Order and Chaos ever again. Because I'm gonna be honest, Gameloft and Vivendi do not care. Okay, they don't care. They're never gonna release Order and Chaos. Only way is an external company that go in, talks with them, and gets the green light to use their code. If they still have any code left, I don't even know if they have any like codes left of Order in Chaos, or just get the permission, the right to use Order in Chaos in their own game and then develop it from scratch, right? Which is a huge, massive investment at the end of the day. But overall, again, it is like sad to see Order in Chaos go, but at the same time, I've been saying it because I've made videos on Order in Chaos before, is that it had to go many years ago. Like, I did not like how the game was still live and you could still make purchases in the game and just spend money on content you never got. Like, for years and years there was no content. People were still playing it because the love of the game, right? People, the community really liked the game, and I did not like that. It was very like upsetting to see that a company is just taking advantage of players like this, and it should not be happening at all. Like, the game should have shut down in like 2018, both of the games. But now we finally came today. You know, they probably saw, hey, now we definitely aren't making any money anymore. We're making a couple bucks. We don't care. So we're going to shut it down, right? Because it costs to like just have servers up, because they're not running any maintenance on the game. You know, they're not releasing any content for years. They were just trying to see how much money people can spend until they don't spend anymore. And then they shut the game down, which is messed up. It's really messed up. But yeah, so that is Order in Chaos, guys. It's probably the end of Order in Chaos for good. You know, maybe some of these small Discord channels are able to create like a private Order in Chaos server, but knowing the Order in Chaos community, what's going to happen is people will find out these servers, they will play it, and then people will start DDoSing it. Because I mean, the one or two people working on it cannot control a community trying to like ruin the game, right? So the only way for it to work is to have like a massive company behind it and working on it. But that is it for this Order in Chaos. Let me know what you guys think. Check out this right here, and I'll see you guys next time.